She ruined my life at 16. Now she says, let's move on. My name is Ethan, 27M, and this is the story of how one lie burned my family to the ground, left me cut off for almost 10 years, and how, after all that time, they suddenly want back in. I grew up in Nashville, Tennessee, in a family that looked picture perfect from the outside. My mom loved hosting backyard barbecues, my dad taught guitar at the local church, and my cousins were always around. Holidays meant loud kitchens, hand-me-down jokes, and board games that went on way too long. One cousin in particular, Madison, then 16F, was like a little sister to me. I was 2 years older, about to start my senior year of high school, when everything snapped. It started on a sticky summer night. My aunt had dropped Madison off at our house while she worked a late shift. I was in the den playing Xbox. She was upstairs watching TV in the guest room. Nothing unusual. Around 11 p.m., she went home. The next morning, my phone buzzed with messages. The first was from my mom. Come downstairs now. Her face was pale, eyes wet. She held her phone out, shaking. It was a text from my aunt. We need to talk. Madison says Ethan assaulted her last night. The world went silent. I laughed at first, because what else do you do when the ground opens under your feet? That's insane. I didn't even leave the couch. But my mom's expression didn't change. My dad walked in, jaw clenched. Don't lie, he said. I'm not lying. My voice cracked. Nothing happened. But by that afternoon, the story had spread like gasoline. At school, friends avoided me. My phone lit with slurs. My aunt told everyone she was protecting her daughter. Madison posted vague updates on social media, little quotes about betrayal and pain, enough to frame me without naming me. Within 2 days, my own grandparents called to say they didn't feel safe having me at their house. And then came the night that split my life in half. We were eating dinner, me pushing peas around my plate, my parents whispering like I wasn't there, when there was a knock at the door. 2 officers stood there. Are you Ethan? Yes. You'll need to come with us. My mom gasped. My dad asked what this was about. The older officer sighed. There's been an allegation. We just need to talk to him downtown. My hands shook as they cuffed me. I remember the sound of my mom crying into a dish towel, my dad's silence heavier than steel. At the station, they questioned me for hours. Where was I? Who could vouch? I said, the Xbox. Check the logs. I was online all night. They wrote it down, skeptical. I was booked, fingerprinted, photographed. The mugshot I begged them not to take ended up online within 48 hours. I spent the night in a holding cell staring at cinderblock walls, trying to understand how my cousin's words could erase my life in a sentence. The next morning, the officers pulled me out. Good news, one said flatly. Your console logs check out. You weren't upstairs. Charges won't be filed. I thought relief would flood me. Instead, I collapsed into a kind of numbness. Because though the state cleared me, my family did not. When I got home, my mom hugged me tight. My dad, though, just stared. My phone buzzed with messages from relatives. Stay away from Madison. We don't want to see you at Christmas. At Thanksgiving that year, I wasn't invited. At Christmas, the same. Family group chats fell silent except for photos I wasn't in. Madison, she never retracted the claim. She just moved on. Went to prom. Posted selfies. Lived her life while mine was scorched. I graduated quietly, skipped the party, worked odd jobs to keep busy. Every time I saw a cousin in public, they turned the other way. By 19, I packed my car and left. For years, silence. I moved from city to city, Dallas, Houston, Denver, taking construction jobs, eating cheap takeout, making surface-level friends who never knew my past. Every time someone asked about family, I changed the subject. It hurt, but at least it was consistent. Until the call came. It was 9 years later, on a Tuesday morning. My phone lit with an unknown number. Against better judgment, I answered. Ethan, a woman's voice asked. It was my aunt. Madison's mom. I froze. My chest buzzed. What do you want? She exhaled hard. It's Madison. She wants to talk. She feels bad about the past. I almost dropped the phone. After nearly a decade of exile, the girl who detonated my life suddenly wanted to talk. I hung up. My hands were shaking so badly, I had to sit on the curb outside my apartment. But 2 days later, a message pinged. From Madison herself. Hey, I know it's been forever. I think it's time we clear the air. Can we meet? And just like that, every scar split open again. The message from Madison sat on my phone screen like a landmine. 10 years of silence. 10 years of being the family's villain. And now she wanted to clear the air. I didn't reply that day. Or the next. I kept reading the words over and over, as if a different meaning would appear if I stared long enough. Finally, Daniel, my best friend from work, looked at me across our lunch break and said, you either ignore it forever or meet her and get answers. But don't let her hold the steering wheel anymore. So I replied, 1 hour. Public place. We met at a small coffee shop near the university campus. Neutral ground. People everywhere. I got there first, hands sweating, heart racing so hard I felt it in my teeth. Then she walked in. Madison, almost 30 now, hair longer, carrying a tote bag like a shield. She spotted me, waved awkwardly, and sat down. For a second, neither of us spoke. Finally, I said, so, why now? She fiddled with her cup. I wanted to apologize. For what I said back then. My chest locked. Apologize, I repeated. She nodded. I was young. Stupid. I was jealous, I guess. You were always the one people said would go far. And I made something up. I didn't think it would go that far. Her words buzzed in my ears. I gripped the table to keep from shaking. You ruined my life, I said flatly. Do you get that? I was arrested. Our family abandoned me. 10 years, Madison. Tears welled in her eyes, sliding down her face. People glanced at us from nearby tables. I know, she whispered. I know, and I hate myself for it. But, Ethan, I need you. Please. That word, need, made my stomach drop. This wasn't about guilt. It was about something else. What do you mean you need me? I asked. She looked me straight in the eyes. Mom and Dad aren't talking to me right now. Tyler left. I don't really have anyone. I want family back. I want you back. I sat there, stunned. So let me get this straight. You destroyed me. You let me carry that stain for a decade. And now, because you're lonely, you want me to come back like nothing happened? She flinched, then whispered, yes. The audacity. I stood up, ready to walk away. But she grabbed my wrist. Wait, please. If you tell everyone the truth, that nothing happened, they'll believe you now. We can fix this. I yanked my hand back. We? There was no we. You lied. You fix it. You go tell them the truth. You undo it. Her face crumpled. They won't believe me, but they might believe you. That's when it hit me. She hadn't come for forgiveness. She'd come for a shield. I left the coffee shop shaking. That night, my phone buzzed with a text from my mom, the first in years. Ethan, we'd like to talk. Things are complicated, but maybe it's time for healing. Healing. A decade too late. I didn't reply. For the next week, messages trickled in. A cousin sent, hey, Madison says you two are talking again. Is it true? An aunt wrote, family's all we have, Ethan. Don't waste more years. It was surreal. People who had cut me off like a tumor now acted like I'd been on vacation. Then came the kicker. My grandmother, who hadn't spoken to me since I was 17, called. I almost didn't answer. But her voice was old, fragile, familiar. Ethan, honey, I know we haven't been there. But Madison told us she apologized. Maybe it's time you let it go. Life's too short. My throat burned. Grandma, I lost a decade because of a lie. Do you understand that? I can't just let it go. She sighed, long and weary. We all make mistakes. I couldn't believe it. A mistake is forgetting milk. A mistake is turning in homework late. Not accusing your cousin of assault and letting him rot in exile for 10 years. The next day, Madison posted on Facebook. A long, self-pitying post about how lies ruin families and how she wants to be forgiven. The comments flooded in. People praising her courage, saying she was brave, that they hoped I'd be the bigger man. She was rewriting the story in real time. And my name was still the villain. That night, I sat in my tiny apartment staring at the glow of the screen. I had two choices. Stay silent and let her version of events win again. Or finally, after 10 years, tell the truth. That night, I didn't sleep. I sat in front of my laptop, cursor blinking on a blank page, thinking about the 10 years stolen from me. 10 years of missed birthdays, graduations, holidays. 10 years of being branded as something I never was. And now Madison wanted me to stay quiet again, just so her version of healing could work. No. I opened a new post and began typing. My name is Ethan. 10 years ago, my cousin accused me of something I never did. I was 17. I was arrested. My family cut me off. I lost everything. Yesterday, she admitted to me that she lied. She wants me to stay quiet so she can save face. I won't. Here's the truth. I wrote every detail. The Xbox alibi. The police logs. The years of silence. The coffee shop meeting where she begged me to help fix it. I didn't hold back. When I hit post, my hands shook. Within minutes, comments poured in. At first, it was friends. People who knew me back then, who'd always had doubts, who remembered me being online that night. I knew something never added up. I'm so sorry you went through this. We should have stood by you. Then strangers chimed in. People who'd been through false accusations, who knew the weight of being called a monster. And finally, family. My aunt. You're cruel to drag this up. Madison has suffered enough. My mom. Take this down before you regret it. My dad, silent. But my brother Ethan, finally, commented, I believe you. I always did. I stared at that line until the letters blurred. Madison, of course, posted her own response. A wall of text about how she was young, how she didn't realize the consequences, how everyone deserves forgiveness. But here's the twist. This time, the tide didn't turn her way. People flooded her comments, asking why she let me rot for 10 years, why she never retracted, why she only apologized when her own life fell apart. She deleted the post within hours. 2 days later, I got an email. From my father. The subject line, can we meet? The body, I've been wrong. I see that now. I want to make this right. Please give me a chance. I stared at it for hours. Part of me wanted to slam the door forever. Another part, the kid who once looked up to his dad, wanted to run into his arms. I didn't reply that night. The following weekend, I agreed to meet him. We sat in a diner off the highway, the kind with cracked booths and burnt coffee. He looked older, grayer, smaller. I failed you, he said without preamble. His hands shook as he held his mug. I listened to them instead of you. I let my son suffer because I was afraid of choosing wrong. My throat tightened. You didn't just fail me. You erased me. Tears filled his eyes. I know. And if you never forgive me, I understand. But I want to try. For the first time in a decade, I saw regret instead of doubt in his face. It didn't fix everything, but it was something. As for Madison, she kept messaging. Long paragraphs about how she was sorry, how she didn't mean for it to last this long, how she hoped we could start fresh. I blocked her. Forgiveness isn't an obligation, especially not when the wound is still bleeding. Here's the part that surprised me. Other relatives started reaching out. Cousins who had avoided me at grocery stores. An uncle who once told me to stay away from his kids. They all said the same thing. We're sorry. We didn't know. I answered some. Ignored others. Because apologies don't rewind 10 years. They don't give me back birthdays or family dinners or the version of me that trusted people. What they do give me is clarity. And clarity is this. I am not the villain. I never was. I survived a lie, an exile, and a silence louder than any accusation. Now, I'm building a life on my own terms. Daniel and I signed a lease for a bigger apartment. I'm working steady hours in construction, saving for something better. I've started therapy to peel back the layers of bitterness. Most importantly, I've started to believe myself again. Because that's the cruelest part of a false accusation. Even when you know you're innocent, the constant chorus of doubt makes you wonder if truth even matters. But it does. So here's my closing cliffhanger for you. Last week, my mom sent one more message. We're having a family dinner. Everyone will be there. Madison too. Please come. Let's start over. I haven't answered. Because the truth is, I don't know if I want back in. Maybe the real healing isn't walking into the same house that once threw me out. Maybe it's building a new one, brick by brick, where the foundation is trust, and the doors don't lock when you need them most.